Right, so good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you here. Good to see also a nice turnout in the online meeting. And I assume the numbers should be growing because it makes sense to be here today. It's really worth it. We are starting the final Excite conference. And not only that, it's an occasion that for us is very important because we invested a lot of time and effort in that, I would say, adventure, because we've been through a lot. We've been through COVID, we've been through war. Some of us are still there at the, just where the fire is. But we've been through that, and we have some success that we would like to share with as many people as possible. My name is Драгомир Цанев. I am the Executive Director of Center for Energy Efficiency and Effect, Bulgaria, coordinator of the Excite project, and it's my real pleasure to host you here in Sofia for that final meeting. Actually, most of you know that it's the third day of quite a big event that we organize here in Bulgaria regarding the progress of the policies and the implementation of the policies on energy and climate issues. Actually, the first day I remember someone stating that it seems that we're more policy makers here, or even politicians, and not that much practitioners, which I honestly took as a personal insult. But that's, of course, in the a little joke, but the important thing is that I think that we proved that claims wrong in these 3 days of the event, because we were really up to the point where policymaking meets actual work on the ground. And that's a very important thing and very difficult. Actually, energy planning and energy management, which gathers us here, are not an easy thing, and we all know it. But this is why we are staying strong together, and this is why we are uniting forces in order to make it easier, to facilitate it, to make it comprehensible for all actors that are involved in our common effort to bring policy to actual work on the ground. Because climate and energy policies, they are happening locally. They're happening in the cities, and this is where we, the energy practitioners, have to be most active. And I think that's a good start of the final. But of course, a final is also a start of a next step, and I'm sure that we'll stay together after we share all our successes, all our challenges, and all the stories that we created together in these 3 years and a half that brought us together. I'm extremely happy to start the conference with many distinguished guests from outside Bulgaria, but also outside the project region of Eastern and Central Europe. And I'm sure that we will learn quite a lot regarding the good practices in energy management across Europe. I trust that these 3 hours would be useful, valuable for all of you who invested your time to stay with us. We're moving forward. The content is really rich and really, I would say, impressive in terms of the ambition of the speakers. So no pressure, but now the floor is to our guests who will start our journey towards the fantastic world of energy management. And our first guest is Paskal Szczайнгрубер from the European Energy Awards, actually the initiator of the Excite movement in Central and Eastern Europe. And it's quite suited that he is at the first place, not only because he is one of the better presenters in our group, but also because he has the exact experience from the places where it has been very difficult to talk about energy, but also very rewarding to talk about energy. In the current times, he's been very involved in Ukraine, among other countries, and I think that's an experience that stays for life. Pascal, the floor is yours.
Much, Dragomir. It's my pleasure to be here today. Thank you very much. I think it's been such an interesting time these past 3 years of this project. Difficult times, as you mentioned, but the topic energy management in municipalities is extremely important. After the last 1.5 years, I think we've all realized that it's not just about carbon emissions, it's also about independency, it's about ensuring stable and secure energy supply. And so I think that the topic of proper energy management in municipalities has even grown in importance in the past months. So my goal for today and for the next 15 minutes is challenging in 15 minutes to give you a short introduction into the European Energy Award, what it is, who's behind the European Energy Award, what are the main benefits for local authorities, for municipalities of the European Energy Award, which are based on experience from several countries. And then in the last bit, I will also show you in which countries the European Energy Award is already applied in Europe, but also outside of Europe. So that's the goal for the next 15 minutes, to give you an idea on these parts. So I think the first part, for when I look into the round and assuming who's joining from the distance, I can keep it short. But first question, why bother about the European Energy Award? It's clear. The past few months have even shown that it's even more important to bother about the topic. But climate change has been around before the war, of course, and whatever happens in the different countries, climate change and the importance of addressing climate change and adapt to it, this will not go away anytime soon. And then there's the international commitments, national commitments, target setting, which has taken place. And as Dragomir rightfully said before, closer, okay, thank you. Sorry. And as Dragomir rightfully said before, much of the action to fulfill these national and international energy and climate targets needs to take place on municipal level. And so this is why municipal energy management is hugely important. So, and what many municipalities have done in the past years, they have set energy, CO2 targets. For example, they have committed to Covenant of Mayors. Some have developed a sustainable energy and action, energy and climate action plan. But then the struggle begins normally. So there are all these commitments, there are this huge scope of action the different municipalities have. Of course, this differs by country. In each country, the municipalities have a different scope of action, but there's a huge overlap of topics that remains the same in the different municipalities, be it within a country, but also compared to international other municipalities. And so what's the experience more than 30 years ago when the European Energy Award started in Switzerland under a different name, but essentially the same, was that cities and municipalities need incentives and very praxis-oriented support to bring their visions, strategies, and plans to life, to make it real. Otherwise, it's paper ends up in a drawer somewhere and gets forgotten. So this is why the municipalities actually, a lot of the work that was done when the European Energy Award was established was done by municipalities, and it's been done for municipalities. And this is what ensures the praxis-oriented approach. And this has been the approach 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago, and this is what it still is today. So just very briefly on the process, I think that's the first thing that I would like you to take away from this presentation. The European Energy Award, even though the name suggests it's just an award, and when you get the award, you have an award, it's about the process. It's not a project. So the goal is that, or it's essential to have a high-level commitment to join or to set ambitious targets related to energy and climate, and to join the European Energy Award. Then, of course, there's internally a need to establish a good team which covers the different areas and brings in the know-how of the different areas related to the European Energy Award. And then in the first part, the initial energy review takes place, where you go through the municipalities go through a structured catalog of measures of the European Energy Award, which is internationally harmonized. It's not the same anymore, but the core measures, the most important measures, are still the same internationally for all municipalities. And then you evaluate what you've done within these measures, where you stand, and you get a score. And starting from that, you look into the future and what are the key measures you are planning in the next 4 years in these different areas. So very, very concrete 4 years horizon, and concrete measures with responsibilities and budget and so on. And then you go through implementation of these measures, and that at some point you are eligible for the award. I will get to that later. And then there will be an external auditor who performs this audit. And once you're approved or awarded as an EA municipality, the process then actually starts, because you will go through this audit every 4 years, or municipalities go through this process every 4 years. And just to give an idea of the different areas that are covered by the European Energy Award, I'm not going through them in detail, but I think what's important to see is that there is the strategic, the planning part that is obviously covered, and in the area 1, it's called, and the other 5 areas, these are the implementation parts, where it's looked at what municipalities do in the fields of their direct scope of action with their own buildings, public lighting, and so on. But then also all kind of different fields of energy, water supply, wastewater disposal, waste disposal on the entire municipality area. All kinds of mobility is covered. Then also how the municipality is organized internally, or the necessary capacities available, what is done related to training of staff, but also public procurement is covered by that sector. And then the last area, communication and cooperation, covers everything that the municipality is doing towards third parties, because roughly 90 or even 95% of the energy consumption that takes place in a municipality are caused not by the municipality itself. So it's important to engage with all those different actors, be it industry or the house owners, or schools as well, or cooperation with other municipalities. These areas are all covered in this area 6. And as a result of this initial energy review I mentioned before, there's a strength and a weakness profile. So you see how you perform in these different, the municipalities see how they perform in these different 6 areas. And when they plan different measures in this area, they can also see how they can evolve, how they will evolve when they implement all these measures. And every time, every 4 years, this strength and weakness profile is being brought to the current status based on the actually implemented measures. There are 2 levels of awards of the European Energy Award. So for the European Energy Award on the international level, European Energy Award, you're eligible if you have exploited, if municipalities have exploited more than 50% of their individual scope of action. So not based on a standardized catalog, but based on their really specifically individual scope of action. And when more than 75% of the individual scope of action is exploited, then municipalities are eligible for the European Energy Award Gold. So I think that the award is really the cherry on top of the cake. It's about the instrument, it's about the network that supports municipalities. Nevertheless, but, of course, also for the political level, the public recognition is important, and so that the award has an effect. But it's also interesting to see how you compare to other municipalities within the country. But when you're a European Energy Award Gold municipality, also compared to international, to other municipalities in other countries. And then what I think is important is the European Energy Award and the Covenant of Mayors. They are a perfect symbiosis. So it's not about joining the Covenant of Mayors or the European Energy Award. It's actually about doing both. So there's this really, I would say, a good cooperation between the Covenant of Mayors and the European Energy Award. And the Covenant of Mayors also stated that the European Energy Award is an excellent implementation tool in the context of the Covenant of Mayors. And this is one key factor is, I think, that the Covenant of Mayors is really strong on setting targets on longer-term sustainable energy action plans, have longer periods of planning horizons than the European Energy Award has. And then the European Energy Award comes in when it comes to the actual implementation, also to the sound reporting. And this has been improved now as well, that there is no double reporting necessary anymore between the Covenant of Mayors and the European Energy Award, but the Covenant of Mayors reporting can actually be done through the European Energy Award. Yeah, I think that this is a huge step forward to facilitate life for municipalities to not have to bother about double reporting. Then who's behind the European Energy Award? Just very briefly, it's an association, a non-profit association called Association European Energy Award. Straightforward. It's registered in Brussels. The executive office of the association is in Zurich, and the members of the association are the participating countries in the European Energy Award and some of the European Award Gold municipalities. And then here's a list of the benefits we have observed in different local authorities or municipalities around Europe, not only Europe, but primarily Europe. And maybe not all benefits are the same for each municipality, but some of them usually apply in every municipality at least. So of course, if the process works properly, then it leads to a reduction in energy costs and carbon emissions. The European Energy Award supports in the development of strategies or the revision of strategies, but then more importantly of the development of very concrete, of specific action plans. It's a platform for capacity building. It builds a network of engaged municipalities. That it aims that the best practice examples are shared more easily between those municipalities, and that in general the exchange of experience takes place with lower barriers, or on the other side, or to put it more positively, to ensure a better exchange of experience with easier access to know-how. Then it also supports stable internal organizational structures. It's a good reporting tool for the Covenant of Mayors, for example. As mentioned before, there is a comparability which might be interesting for a friendly competition with other municipalities. It provides recognition and public awareness due to the visibility of the award and the communication with where the award can be a red line of this energy and climate policy. And then also, I think an important aspect can be that the European Energy Award serves as a quality assurance instrument for international donors. So it puts municipalities on the map, and municipalities can show, we know what we are doing, we're being transparent about it, and this can facilitate access to funding and international projects. And now the final words are on the dissemination of the European Energy Award. There's currently more than 1,800 municipalities participating in the European Energy Award. Of them, are a bit more than 1,100 are actually awarded. The other ones are still in the process, but 1,100 are awarded. And the number of municipalities engaging in the European Energy Award, this number is continuously growing for over 30 years now. So the dark blue countries you see on the map here, these are the countries which have been engaged in for several years now. They have properly fixedly installed national European Energy Award programs in their countries. These programs have their own names, so usually they're not named European Energy Awards, so they have their own name, but what holds all these programs together is the European Energy Award Association. And then there's also the lighter blue countries. These are pilot countries working with the European Energy Award through different projects, longer time already, and some still just started. But as you can see, the European Energy Award is covering a substantial part of Europe already. Also outside of Europe, there are a few examples in South America. There's Colombia, Chile, and Uruguay. The goal there is the same, basically, bringing the European Energy Award under a different name, obviously, to more countries, and then also to set up an organizational structure as the Association European Energy Award in Europe, to have such an organization in Southern America as well. And then also in Tunisia and in Morocco, the European Energy Award is applied, of course, also under a different name and with slightly different focus. So to come to an end, we have to keep it short, we are convinced that the European Energy Award helps to achieve municipal energy and climate targets faster, in a better quality, also for the people living in the municipality, and also more stable, meaning after elections, when lots of people change on political level, but also within the administration, because it's a process which goes on, it helps also with the know-how management and ensuring that the process continues. So that much from my side. I try to. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pascal. Indeed, much appreciated, and a lot of insights from that presentation. For me, one of the most important things, which we started with a hope, but now it's a reality. We have a coherence between the Covenant of Mayors and the European Energy Award. These are not contradicting, but complementary tools, and that's very important to understand for all municipalities in the region. We are traditionally used to working with the Covenant of Mayors, even if it's becoming more complicated, more difficult to manage. Now, the European Energy Award gives us the right tools in order to manage that complexity, and we have to use that. And it's absolutely accessible, and it's absolutely manageable or workable instrument that is there available, and there are people that can help you, the local authorities, to grasp that complexity, which becomes bigger and bigger with all the challenges and all the different processes that are running in our societies right now. Now, we're moving on with the specifics of the Excite project. We have to know from the beginning of the conference, as I mentioned, it's not easy to manage through all these things that are happening around, but we would have a delay in the participation of the Ukrainian partners because the situation is very difficult. They have a parallel event now in Ukraine. There is a huge conference, by the way, I don't know if you know, in Vilnius for the restoration of Ukraine, which also attracts a lot of resources from the country, but they will be with us a little bit later. Now it's my turn to save a little bit time from the official presentations and then give the floor to another perspective, the perspective of Germany, where we have with us the Oливър Ритер from an institution that we all know as UFO, the Independent Institute for Environmental Affairs, one of the most established organizations basically in our area. But now I would like to ask my colleagues to put on my presentation. 5 minutes, basics of Excite, and we're moving towards the examples from the countries, comparing what happens in Germany to what is happening here on the ground in Central and Eastern Europe. And I'm telling you that the process are quite similar. The challenges are quite similar. We'll, I guess, see that and make our conclusions on how we want to proceed further. So the Excite journey. Can I just have the mouse, please? Yes, thank you. The Excite journey started, as I said, a few years ago. Previous slides. Sorry, it's a little bit difficult to navigate, but we'll get the knack of it. All right. Moving with the Excite, what we wanted to do, we wanted to change that picture. And this is the picture of European Energy Award cities across Europe. So we see that there is a lot of experience gained in the western parts of Europe, and there are some front runners in the eastern part, but we must do what we call cohesion in political terms, and we must bring those good and well-established practices towards our part of the world, because the bigger the difference, the more complex becomes the joint collaboration within the European Union. And I'm sure we all want to make it even better and make it even more productive for our societies. Then we thought, how can we do that? To do that, we need the right partnerships. And I'm telling you really that we had a really, I should say, efficient team of collaborators here. We had the external expertise coming from the source, which was from the European Energy Award Office directly, but also from the international EEA consultants coming from France and Austria. And we had the knowledge on stakeholder stakeholders engagement. There is some distraction for our online audiences in the room. That's why I'm stopping for a while. On stakeholder engagement and of course, many other useful knowledge coming from the Austrian energy agencies, a very valuable instrumental partner in our composition, also serving as a glue in order to bring together all the other local partners. And then we had the partners from the new countries. In Romania and in Ukraine, we had the organization who already had the experience with European Energy Award. Some problems but few successes as well. They brought their experience towards the three new countries, which were North Macedonia, Slovenia, and Bulgaria. And then we started the journey. We said that we know the objective. We want to get into Eastern Europe. We want to get it working. We want to get the right framework to do it the proper way. And we want the pilot cities, because without having the pilot cities, there's no point of it all, because here, examples is what it works. We succeeded to do that because I think that we found the right instrumentarium. First of all, we talk about money. And when we talk about money, there's still a few people who listen here because money is always, on the radar of the local authorities. Managing public resources, scarce public resources, is what they know that they need further capacities to do. And I think that we were quite good in basically navigating together with them in the complex environment of access to public financing. But then people, knowledge regarding energy efficiency, regarding management of the different areas within the broader scope of the European Energy Award. A lot of training and education has been going on via capacity building platform that we created under Excite, but also via direct work and direct and peer exchange that we had under the project, which was probably one of the best stories that we have, and I will come to that a little bit later. And then, last but not least, stakeholder engagement. As I said, that's the crucial aspect of having successful policy implementation. Most of us, we come from a very centralized societies. We are not used to discussing policy decisions within the broader community. We are not used to engage the broader community in policy solutions. And this is something that we try to overcome, at least at the local level in the Excite Pro project. And I'm kind of tempted to think that we also brought that change to the national level, making policies. Because 2 days ago, we had the perfect example of that. In that very room, there were hundreds of people gathering with representatives of each of the relevant ministries in Bulgaria, openly discussing the process of developing the national energy and climate plan of the country, which is the process that we want to see and we want to push further with initiatives like that. Then we had some necessary tools that we were obliged to produce, not because of the project, but because without them, there's no progress. So we had the national offices set in the new countries. We selected the pilot cities. Should I say that we brought the biggest cities in the EA network through Sofia, and we are moving on with them. Then we had the network of energy advisors trained per country. We had the guidelines for stakeholder engagement, the best cases. We had multiple workshops and fact sheets on local energy and climate issues, thanks to the Austrian Energy Agency, a really dedicated performance from them. Then we had the training platform for EA advisors and municipality, a lot of training, as I mentioned. Then we had the toolbox for innovative business models, designed for the use of the public authorities. We started the pilot implementations. We completed the initial assessments according to the adapted assessment framework for each of the countries. And we have the first EA certification available, which was at the end what we aimed with the start of the Excite project. These are the plain numbers, the cities that we engaged and the officials that we engaged. Probably that's not very interesting. This is what is really interesting for me, the fact that we established communities of people working together, understanding what they're talking about, being on the same page, because that's the only way a complex issue like energy and climate planning can be managed. These are pictures from our peer reviews in all of the countries of Excite. And I'm happy to say that, first of all, I'm happy to see you, some of you here. I'm happy to say that I'm sure now that when we go to any of these countries, we have certain people that we can count on and that we can call and ask for any support regarding to an activity that's happening at the local level. And I'm absolutely certain that this collaboration would continue. There are a number of instruments, and we are already planning such kind of continuation together in this team, also expanding it in the broader region of the Western Balkans, but something that is very important for the European policies. So I trust that this is not, as I said, the end, but the start of a journey which will continue to support its sustainable fruition. With this, I would like to thank you for your attention. I indeed saved 5 minutes, but I think that that was a sufficient introduction of the Excite project in terms of philosophy, concept, and approach. And now we're moving to what really interests us at the end, because I said in one of my promotional votes, actually, we're interested in real practice examples rather than political talk. Moving to that first country, not an Excite country, but a country on which we try to measure our ambitions. Germany, Oливър Ритер is with us. Oliver, hope you can hear us and you're able to join our...
I can hear you loud and clear.
Great, excellent. Great to have you here. And thanks for taking time to our event, also present the Live Beacon project and its experience. But most importantly, let's hear about what are the municipal energy practices in Germany now, what's at the forefront of the discussions in that area. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation. We have a little delay, I think. So again, please.
You can share your presentation if you have any slides.
Thank you. My colleagues from Sofena will share my presentation.
All right. They are, as you can see on the camera, they're running. How to do that.
Thank you, Zdravko. A little sports exercise in the morning. So yeah, okay. So as long as Zdravko is looking for the pen drive and my presentation, unfortunately, I cannot share my presentation via Zoom because my computer has some problems. Yeah, anyway, thanks for having me at this conference, and thanks for the invitation. I think this is very important, as you already said and mentioned before, that communication and sharing of experiences and discussions does matter a lot in order to move forward. And yeah, that's why I was very, very happy for this invitation for today. Yeah, just I was asked for just brief presentation of the status quo and also the targets of municipal energy management in Germany. Before that, I just want to briefly introduce myself and the institute I'm representing. I'm Oливър Riter from Independent Institute for Environmental Issues. It's a NGO based in Germany and dealing a lot with topics of environmental law, climate protection, but also awareness building and capacity building in terms of energy consumption. And together with Sofena and another Bulgarian institution, NTEF, and a Romanian partner, UIR, we're participating in a project which is funded by German government by the EUKI funding program. And in this project, we are looking for ways in Bulgaria and Romania, but even, of course, also in Germany, to foster municipal energy management. And part of this project was a good practice report on how energy management in Germany and also some other Western and Southern European countries is handled. And since I have only 10 minutes roughly, I just want to present you the key findings. Okay, next slide, please. So I think the major challenge always, you also just mentioned it, is always money. So that's why I did not mention the money and the funding here in the key findings, because it's everywhere and all the time. It's one of the most challenging questions to how to gather the money, where to get the funds. So that's why I left it away here. As you might know, in Germany, we currently have some kind of budget emergency. Around 60 billion euros are lost, which were actually dedicated for Corona aid funds, and then afterwards changed to climate and transition funds. Now these 60 billion euros are lost since this was not legal. So we are facing huge challenges regarding this money issue. So, but anyway, this is not my topic now. I want to present the more interesting key findings of this good practice report. The first one is the field of action for municipal energy management. So for some of you, I think this goes without a saying what the fields of action are. For some of you, it might be new, even in Germany. And that's why I'm highlighting this key finding. Even in Germany, for many municipalities, it's not clear what municipal energy management is about and what are the targets and what are the fields of action. That's why we are highlighting this in the good practice report. Since we found out that some pilot municipalities which are very progressed, that they have listed their fields of action, and we thought these pilot communities, they serve as kind of examples for other communities in Germany and also maybe abroad. And the core fields of actions are, of course, buildings. So municipal buildings make about 70% of the energy consumption in municipalities. And also in total of all buildings in the country, the public buildings from municipalities have a very big share. So this matters a lot whether the energy consumption goes up or down for those buildings. And that's why this is very important to focus on these buildings and to reduce energy consumption in those buildings. Another field of action is very popular in Germany. These are the so-called energy saving models in schools. This is about a lot of awareness building, capacity building for students and for teachers, and also for the director of the school. And it's about behavioral changes. So one example, the most common example, is not to turn on the heater while you are airing the room. And actually, one thinks this goes without a saying too, but in reality, it's often the case that the windows are open and the radiators are turned on to the maximum, of course, because it's getting cold when you ventilate all the day or air all the day. So this is one major field of action to go into the schools and to make this awareness building. And this is also financed by the government. And yeah, among the public buildings, the school buildings also have the biggest share. So I have to speed up a little, I guess. Another key field of action, of course, is the electricity use and the public lighting on the streets, to exchange the old lighting techniques by LEDs. Also urban mobility, how to organize it, and to reduce carbon footprint of the mobility system, and of course the energy system, how the community is provided with heat and with electricity, and to find ways to make the transition towards renewable energy. So these are the key fields of actions of energy management in Germany for the example pilot municipalities, good practice municipalities. Next slide, please. Thank you. Another key finding is deals a lot with the everyday work in the energy management. This is also important to reflect this, because you have to see what objectives the energy management has. We found it before, the fields of action. It's a little bit, it goes together, of course, but also the tasks of energy managers. So what are their everyday tasks? And I showed you a graphic from the report. So I can pick out some energy procurement, of course, is one. So where to buy the energy for the municipality. Then the communication of the energy reports. There are standards in Germany when to report and to which extent to report, depending on the energy consumption on a certain building. Then, of course, awareness building or sensitization of building users, organizational structure and set up the management, energy controlling systems, so monitoring of energy consumption. This is very important, because if you don't know how much your buildings consume, then you don't know how to manage the reduction. So, and of course, involvement and training of the janitators, also very important, because these are the people who are at the front, so to say, of the respective buildings. Okay, next slide, please. Here's again summed up the categories of tasks of employees in the energy management. So one is analyzation, and among analyzation is monitoring, controlling and evaluating of the energy consumption, but also of the measures taken to reduce energy consumptions. Another very important task is the communication. You can't believe how bad communication is within the municipalities. The janitator doesn't speak with the energy manager doesn't speak with the mayor doesn't speak with the facility management, and so on. And all these stakeholders, they need to communicate, they need to speak with each other. And then you break down the barriers, and then you have an exchange of experience and of knowledge. So this is, you can't stress it enough how important communication is. We see it every day in our work. We had yesterday a training for janitators, and they told us nobody is talking to them, and so they don't know how to manage their heating controls. They don't know which standards they have to follow. So then another category is education, training and consulting. Training is one of the things that we do for the municipal employees. And at last, optimization of every processes of energy consumption and of the building also. Okay, next slide, please. And I think this is the last slide. And then, oh no, there's another slide for key finding 2. Also very important, skills and professions and job descriptions of the staff which is working there. So beside the money, the lack of labor force is another major problem we're facing in Germany, and I think also in Bulgaria and other countries we spoke with. they simply do not find people who can work there or who are willing to work there and who are qualified enough to perform this work. So this is what we have to face in the midterm and also in the long term. And this deals, of course, with the question of the educational system in our countries. So there are not enough people who are interested in technical work, and that's why they are not interested in the qualification programs. And this is what we have to change. But this can only be changed if the standing and the image of people who work as, for example, as janitators, as caretakers in schools, this image has also to be changed. And so this goes back to the question of communication. Okay, next slide, please. So this is unfortunately again a screenshot in German language. I'm sorry, I had no time to make the translation. This is the last one. This also goes together with the key findings 1 and 2. It's about organization and communication. And here you see the spider web of the communication routes between the different stakeholders. So in the center, you have the energy management, which is based in the administration. Then above, you have the political system, so to say, like the mayor or the council. Then you have to the right, you have certain certain subjects which are dealt with. You have the administration for the technical and building issues. Then very in the south of the picture, you have the schools and the school administration. Then you have the facility management. You have the people who are dealing with financing and performing the new buildings. And then at last, you have the finance administration. And all of them, they have to communicate with each other. Otherwise, this won't work. This whole endeavor, which we try to perform and the targets we try to reach. Yeah, so that's why it's the last, but not the least key finding. Yeah, it's all about communication. All right, I think that's it from my side. Yeah, that was the last slide.
Thank you very much, Oliver. Indeed, very, very similar outcomes from your experiences in the common projects that you have with Bulgaria and Romania, and that's kind of natural that we are basically finding out the same key issues that we have to tackle. And I'm really happy that you're confirming the message that we are having from Excite, that without investing in, first of all, internal organization, and then stakeholders engagement and communication, of course, supported by the right knowledge and the right financial arguments, it's hard to talk about a sustainable process. So thank you very much. Hope you find interesting also the examples that we have prepared from the Excite countries, and see how can we support each other in the energy transition that we are facing all across the continent. Now, our next speaker is Neic from Xena.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Oliver, indeed. Much appreciated. So Neic would present us the example from Slovenia. Xena is one of the regional energy agencies in Slovenia, which are instrumental in driving forward the energy transition. They're the people that actually moved certain cities in Slovenia from coal-intensive industry towards being some of the front runners in Europe. And that's an experience that I think it's worth noticing. Nate, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Drago. Thank you all. It's good to be here in Sofia. As Drago mentioned, I'm Neic Jurko, coming from local energy agency Xena. we cover one part of Slovenia. And maybe first the background, why we joined the Excite project in the EA. What we find out in the past 10, 15 years is that the local communities in Slovenia, the municipality, has to prepare the local energy concept. So this strategic document, which is similar to SEAP or SECAP now. And there they define the energy consumption, energy use in their territories, the measures, and so on. So it's a quite big document, but it often appear that they prepare a document and then put it in the drawer for 10 years. And then when we find out about the EEA, and Drago invited us in this Excite project, it was very interesting for us to find some tools that force or to enable municipalities that they start to measuring, start to work as this energy concept that they already have, that they start to implement it with this energy concept and start to work accordingly. So this was the key role what we joined to this EA project. So yeah. Okay, so I will briefly present the EE label in Slovenia, and then we have 3 pilot municipality, which has scored some points in this EA certification. So the first, I will present how we started with the EE label in Slovenia. Pascal already okay. Pascal already presented the general concept of the EA, how we approach them. So first of all, the political decision of all 3 pilot municipalities was set, so they want to join this program. And then, yeah, of course, we formed the energy team in every municipality and start with initial energy review. Then what we skip is this preparation of an action plan, because this action plan already existed in this local energy concept. So we just use this action plan that already have and try to evaluate how they implement their investment, their measures regarding the energy, regarding the all 6 areas of the EEA, and how the municipal implemented it. So this was the core of our work. Of course, we have to educate the advisors, we have to educate the auditors, and yeah, what was the most challenging was to prepare this assessment guidance. So basically, the assessment guidance for the EA, it's very comprehensive document, let's say that, and it is based on legislation, and it's quite different from country to country. So we put a lot of work to prepare this infrastructure to be further developed, so that other municipalities, not just 3 pilot municipalities, but other Slovenian municipalities can join the EEA program. So this was at a glance. Now I would like to present the 3 pilot municipalities and what measures they have that they achieve some score in the EEA audit, so in this EEA award. First of all, this municipality of Celje. This is the biggest municipalities we have here. It has a little less than 50,000 inhabitants, less than 100 square meters in surface. What they use, so they consume 1.5 gigawatt of energy per year. So some for heating, some for transport, and for electricity. They have a district heating network, very good one. And this district heating, so the energy for heating, which is usually most carbon intensive, coming from their waste incineration plant, some gas, and the biomass. So they are some on the right track on these fields of secure the energy for heating. What other project we find it interesting? First of all, is mobility. So they prepare these bike sharing systems with 17 stations and more than 100 bicycles. They built new cycling routes around the city center or in the city center, and they started with Celebus. So they have 10 vehicles and 5 routes. Unfortunately, this project happened around 3 years ago, just before before the war in Ukraine. So they decided for these CNG buses, so compressed natural gas buses, and now they have some problems and they have to rethink the whole concept and probably move to the electricity. What was other interesting project was this financing energy renovation of public buildings. So they apply for ELENA funds. They received the ELENA funds a couple of years ago, and they actually renovate 8 public buildings, mostly kindergartens and schools, and one cultural heritage building for cultural purposes with the energy performance contracting. So basically, the municipality didn't invest, they don't have to invest anything. So the private investor invest in the energy renovation, and of course now the municipality paid them through the energy savings achieved. So how was their score? As I said, they score 55% less. Here you can see how they achieve in different areas. So they are quite good at mobility, as I said, and maybe in the municipal buildings and facilities. But where we find the most, what they have a lot of room for improvement is the internal organization and maybe some cooperation and communication. And of course, in all areas, they have a lot of improvement. So our next municipality was municipality of Slovenj. So this was the smallest one. Of course, they also have some interesting project, mostly with the mobility in the city center, managing mobility, some kind of innovative spatial planning where they are try to put more green areas in the city, around the new buildings and so on. They also have the district heating system on biomass. So it's still they still have some room for improvement. And yeah, of course, this what we find out in general for all 3 municipalities, that internal organization and maybe the communication has they score less points than in some other in the other areas. So our final example is municipality of Slovenia. I will focus more about them. So they have 35,000 inhabitants, joined the EEA in the 2022 as all. They have one energy office for citizens, and this was a good example. They also appear in this EEA Golden event where they presented this office for citizens. What is the background of this office is that Velenje is actually the coal mine city. So there is a thermal power plant nearby Velenje, and the running coal mine, which still employs, I don't know, like 55,000 people. It's still related to the production of coal and the energy from coal. So they have to work with them to try to get that to prepare them for the new future, let's say, or for the future that this coal mine will be closed, and of course the energy will be produced in the other way. Energy office was important also because there is a district heating system also based on coal, and the energy there was quite cheap. So there was basically no investments in energy efficiency in buildings. And now when the price of CO2 coupons went up. Of course, the energy was not so cheap anymore, and the citizen actually now need to invest in the energy efficiency of their buildings, and municipality of Volenia help them through this energy office. Okay, yeah, so yeah, they score the most points. You can see it in the different areas. In all areas, they scored quite well. And as I mentioned, this internal organization is still quite a big issue. I will finish soon. I just want to point out the general idea. So the general idea about these certificates and awards. Volenia achieved several awards in the past 3 years. So they achieved a Green Leaf Award. They are in the mission 100 climate neutral cities by 2030, and so on. And usually you get the impressions or the opinion by the citizens that why do we need these awards? This is something that, you know, the politicians use just to show around, to get elected on the next election. And our point is, it's not always just for that. You have to put some work on it. And if you want to achieve the award, like the EEA, you have to show something. And this is usually also beneficiary for the citizens. So when municipality get an award, there is some work behind it. At least the municipal personnel have to work it, and they get some experience, and they have to implement some projects that are sustainable, that are good for the future or for the CO2 emissions, for the reduction of CO2 emissions. So this is why Volenia is quite successful in this energy transition for now. This is one example of Volenia Lake. For example, 30 years ago, this lake was full of sulfite, so it was the water was, you know, really beautiful colors, but basically poisoned. And through the process of this transformation of the valley, now the boat clean because they stopped putting ash in it, and now it's actually very suitable for bathing, and there is a huge place for events and so on. So in this, they already achieved something in this area. So the whole environment of Šalek Valley is getting better for the citizens. They have a free public transport for all people who are coming to Volenia, who are living there. They have some project of energy efficiency of buildings, so they renovated the health center. There was several renovation of these public buildings, but there are still a lot to be done in the next years. And yeah, what they prepare is also the long-term strategy for the renovation of buildings, so that they analyze the building stock and they have a quite clear pipeline which buildings have to be renovated first when some funding occur or they have a problem. So this was basically it about Volenia. So the transformation of district heating system, so to go away from coal to renewable energy sources is a key challenge for future, and hope the EEA will also help them in this regard. So thank you. I'm sorry, Drago.
Very much, Neic. No, you know, if I was you, I would have very brief presentations. I would say I supported the city which went from coal-based industry to green leaf winner for 15 years. And I think that's enough for a presentation. Then everybody's would be coming, flocking to you for further information. I think that's a huge success indeed, because we're all used to saying, you know, it's not possible to get out of the coal. We have so much need of support. We need so much need of money coming from Europe. No, if, as Nate said, we sit down and work together, the awards are coming, but the most important thing is that the transition is taking place and people are appreciating it. And I'm sure Dorin, now next to me, would give us pretty much the same examples from Romania, because success is success and it happens around the region. And of course, with Dorin and the Romanian Green Building Councils, we have the front runners north of us. Dorin, floor is yours.
Thank you, Drago. Well, I'm here after 1 week in Sofia, and I really enjoyed this time spent in Sofia. But let's get to Romania. Well, if in Romania we have some achievement, it means we started a little bit earlier. In 2016, we already had another EU project, it was called Camizi, which was related to what Pascal has said about Covenant of Mayor and EEA getting together and do not have to do twice the reporting. And of course, this is our second project, but you'll see the results will come on time. I mean, 3 times, it's a little bit, just a short period of time to achieve, because now we can say in Romania, we have quite many places. For instance, we got Alba Iulia, we have a representative from Alba Iulia here, but also other cities, number 2, 3, and 4 from Romania, not Bucharest, but it's also a problem of big cities, because in big cities,
Asta не е защитена.
Okay, so one of the problem is that in major cities, it is hard to find all the data that you need. It's more difficult, but still we have now one of the city, which is Cluj, and I will refer to this example, which is one of the 100 zero carbon cities. Okay, so here is the list of the communities. We call it Comunitate Sustenabile, so sustainable community. But some of the ideas after our project is that it's an increase of importance for communities. It never happens 10 years before. So it's now a city has to deal with public building, public transport, water supply, a lot of things that implies a lot of professionals, and it's also a problem of management of these results. So first of all, one of the steps that I will recommend is the professionalization of energy efficiency department. It's a lot of transdisciplinary knowledge. No one has studied in school how to deal with a city. Everybody has another study, I don't know, in communication, European studies or whatever, but no one has done a study on a city council, how to manage a city, how to deal with all these problems that you have in a city. So this is also transdisciplinary knowledge. It's also important to monitor the existing situation, because in order to have real data, you need to monitor. So one of the major problems we have is to gather all this data, but it has to be smart data. So you need to have real data acquisition. So this is very important for a city to acquire all this information in real time and to take measures based on these measurings. Also, it's a need to prioritize the energy efficiency project. If the return of investors is under 3 years, well, this can be done from the city council budget. If not, well, it's important to use European fundings, other national fundings, because in that case, it is more difficult. Yeah, also the importance of pilot projects, especially for smart city projects. We've seen a lot of smart city projects, but usually ending after 1, 2, or 3 years. There's no much about this kind of projects, because in a way it's very hard to handle it, and the results are not as expected. There's a lot of, how to say, emphasize on big results, so there are big expectations, and sometimes the results are not there. So that's why I'm promoting pilot projects, small-scale projects, and then go for large-scale projects. And what Oliver said, communication with citizens. in this image, I cannot tell you what is written on that car. I have to scratch it because it's about something about Greta. Don't expect that everyone is happy about all this discussion about climate change and digitalization. That will, because some people are afraid that their way of life will be changed because their profession will be no longer needed or they do not want to adapt. And so that's why communication, it's a problem. And we'll probably see it in next year when we'll have elections, and we'll see already on the existing election that there's a major issue regarding communication with people, because sometimes either the projects were not well explained, either people have different, let's say, momentum for the moment, other expectation. So communication seems to be extremely important. And sometimes there are diverging interests, like people driving a car with bicycle people, they are not having the same idea about future. So take that in mind, because I've seen a lot of hate relating new projects, especially in Romania, probably because election are next year, but also we need to be very careful about this. And I'm happy because Dragomir is an expert in communication and explain us many times the importance. So I'm an engineer, so you know I'm not very good in communication, but I realize the importance based on the previous projects. So that's why it's important, this feedback and correction. For many years, all the projects were presented as brilliant projects, successful projects, and few of them explained that in most of the projects you need correction, there is need of feedback, and not always you've probably seen all the sides of the coin. So take this in mind, because for many years we make this error presenting everything as a success, and there's no 100% successful project. There's always some aspects that need to be solved in time. So, and last but not least, it's system maintenance. Be aware of system, because there will be now a lot of projects, but I'm not sure if all these buildings with new system, KNX systems and so on, they have the proper maintenance. And there's always this discussion about we are not getting the results we expected from modernization of a building. And usually the problem is system maintenance. You need to do it properly. And this usually, it's an issue, let's say, in Eastern and Central Europe. And well, I just want to warn you. So about our project, we call it Comunitate Sustenabilă. And I take you to example how the situation was in 2012, when we had only 4 cities which were measured by other EA assessors. That was the situation. Cluj, for example, was in the poorest situation. On that time, we had a mayor with no interest on climate, only on national aspects, and how it changed in time. So you see, there's a continuous improvement. We use the international EA catalog and we stick to that. I mean, we adapt it, but we stick because we want this comparison. Of course, when you go to a mayor, they always want to compare with Zurich and Lucerne, and you explain them, okay, calm down, you need time for that. And they started 30 years ago. So if you're starting this year, you cannot run so fast, even if they want. But still, there are some results. That's the best example that we have in Cluj. Many projects, especially in mobility, the projects for Cluj, it's to have everything electrified as a mobility, as a public mobility by 2026. Let's see if that that will be the case, but still it's on the right track. So let's see about these results. And this is effective. So quite everything is around 40. So no big difference. Internal organization was better, but I wouldn't say it's a lot of change these days as internal organization due to new rules on national level. Yeah, so I will stop here the presentation as in order to be on time. Thank you, Drag.
Thank you very much, Dorin. Well, that's for me, I was thinking, listening to you, when you have the experience, when you process it, then you are able to put it into a system, to internalize the system, and then you're coming to applying it on the ground and yielding actual results. And we've seen with our eyes how the cities of Cluj and Alba Iulia and other Romanian frontrunners are organized, how things are running, how successful are certain initiatives, like, for example, the Green Mortgage Initiative that also the Romanian Green Building Council is running, because they are sustainable foreground for that, and there is experience, coming together year after year. Now, our next example is from North Macedonia, our friends who actually have a lot to show. It's larger and unrecognized, but maybe on a smaller scales, but the success practices are there as well. And we have to learn from them often, much more often than they would learn from us. I'm talking about Bulgaria in that case. Maria, good to have you here. Getting also the gender balance a little bit more more acceptable, because I was kind of concerned with that as well. But the examples from Macedonia is something that I'm sure everyone here is very eager to learn about.
About the program of energy efficiency of our pilot municipality, Kocha. First, in Macedonia, the AAI documents, the master catalog and the assessment guidance were adjusted to the Macedonian context, taking in consideration the Swiss catalog, which the context of the structure and the governance was really different than in Macedonia. So it was a challenging but yet successful process of adjustment. Then we established national structure and built capacities for implementing the EEA in Macedonia. We established the national office, which is with headquarters for Macedonia in Habitat for Humanity, Macedonia. Three national advisors and 2 national auditors were trained, and we established the national certification body, which is contained from 5 members with different stakeholder groups. And the most challenging and interesting part was linking the EEA methodology with something beneficial for the municipalities, which was the program for energy efficiency. In Macedonia, the SECAPs are not a mandatory documents, but the programs for energy efficiency are. So that's why we did this connection. And we completed the international EEA audits this September. Just for short presentation of the events. We had the kickoff meeting in December of 2020. Unfortunately, it was online due to COVID. We had a lot of workshops with the municipalities continuously since 2001 to this year. We had 3 working meetings with the national certification body. And regarding the civil engagement aspect of this project, in municipality of Karpoš, there was establishment of resource centers in the scope of another Horizon 2020 project named COMACT. About the general international audits that happened, they were implemented in 2 municipalities, Karpoš and Kočani. When we speak about municipality of Karpoš, the biggest strength is the area development and spatial planning, and maybe they can do a little bit more in the area of supply and disposal. When it comes to Kočani, we have that they have a higher implementation rates in the supply and disposal, but maybe they can do a little bit more in the internal organization. When it comes to the general results, the municipality of Karpoš was assessed with over 50%, which it can be a candidate for a Silver European Energy Award. And Kočani was just above 27% of implementation. During this process, there were more than 70 documents reviewed and more than 2,050 pages reviewed. In this process, the international advisor for Macedonia was Kristina Birman, and the international auditor was Anne Rilke. And in this occasion, I would like to thank them. We had a third municipality of Kičevo, as a piloting municipality in this project, but unfortunately, it was not much of a commitment that was required for this process, and also capacities in this municipality. But during this period, we have involved another Macedonian municipality of Delčeva, but unfortunately they came later in the project, so they couldn't get international audit and full assessment. Now let's get on to the linking the EEA methodology with the municipal programs of energy efficiency. Just a little reminder of what were the areas of the EEA. The first area is development and special planning, where all of the municipal documents are assessed. Then we have the municipal buildings and facilities, where the municipality is assessed how they are managing their buildings, facilities, how the energy and water are used in these buildings, and of course the public lighting. The supply and disposal, where different types of waste and energy are assessed. Then we had the mobility, where the assessment is for the public transport, the motorized and non-motorized traffic, and etc. The internal organization, here the municipal structure is reviewed, if they have capacities for implementing the EEA and what are their strengths and weaknesses. And then we have the communication and cooperation between the sectors in the municipality with different regions, different municipalities, and across the border communication. When it comes to the methodology process of the EEA, first, the municipality has to be committed to carrying out the whole process of the EEA assessment. Then they have to form an official energy team that will deal with all of the questions and things of the EEA methodology and assessment. Then they go into the initial energy review that was completed this September, as I said, for Macedonia. And since the EEA is a circular process, continuous process, in the next 4 years, they will have to implement the energy policy programs. They have to implement different projects, and then after 4 years to undergo again under certification and hopefully awarding. Now let's see and compare what areas of interest are in the programs according to the template published by the Macedonian Agency of Energy for preparation the programs for energy efficiency. Okay. So the sectors that are treated are water, public lighting facilities, planning, transport, waste, electricity and heat, dealing with the industry, what is the environmental impact, what they are prioritizing, and finances. The process for the methodology of preparation of the programs for energy efficiency are very similar, and they include forming an energy team that would formulate the priorities and recommend goals for the municipal program of energy efficiency. Then we have the energy efficiency team presenting this list to the mayor. The mayor needs to review all of the goals, measures, and targets based on availability of funds and what is in the interest of municipality. Then the mayor will have to present these lists and the draft version of the program for energy efficiency to the municipal council. And at the end, the municipal council has to approve and adopt these measures and the program for energy efficiency. If we overlap both of the sectors and areas of interest, we will see that when it comes to aligning with different local, national, and international strategies and targets, which are foreseen in the program for energy efficiency, they align with development and spatial planning. The sector of facility and public lighting aligns with the area 2 municipal buildings and facilities. The sectors water, waste, electricity, and heat are complementary with the third area, supply and disposal. The sector transport and mobility are obvious. Then we have setting the goals, project selection, prioritizing measures are in complementary with internal organizations. And then we have the sector industry and financing, which are under the area 6, communication and cooperation. When we put this into a force, we have the draft version now from municipal program for energy efficiency of Kočani. We had some interesting findings. When it comes to electricity, the electricity share in the municipalities around 15%. I don't know why it's not shown here. Go back. Nevertheless, but most of the energy and resources are for heating, and this brown area is oil, the green area is wood, and the little blue area is pallets, wooden pallets. And in this program, since the municipality of Kočani it's not the richest, we foreseen a program from 1,700,000 euros for improving the energy efficiency. Where you can see in this slide the potential of energy savings when it comes to all types of energy. The savings will be around 17%. And if we break it down to different types of energy and resources, the electricity will be saved for 28%, the oil 14%, wood 35%, and total heating energy 50%. So with this, I will finish the presentation with one good example of a quote for the EA and how we perceive this process is that there is no power for change greater than a community discovering what it cares about. And the EA exactly provided this in this project.
Thank you very much, Mariela. Indeed, yeah, I think that we've managed to do that together, to bring the intentions to real change within the cities that we worked with. And indeed, the energy management system, the integrated energy management system that EA represent actually are the one most appropriate method to do that. And here I have a little doubt actually on how to proceed, as I know that the representative of Lena, the German energy agency, can only stay with us with a few more minutes. So I would probably ask for understanding from Gabi from the Austrian Energy Agency. If she can.
No problem, Drago. No
Yes.
problem.
So much, Gabi, but you would have more time at the end. So that's the
Very
benefit.
good.
Waiting for a few more minutes. And then I would like to ask again from some input from Germany, a Bulgarian working actually in Germany, Ileana Venge, for again examples for energy management practices from the western part of Europe. So Ileana, I hope that you can hear us and you can join in.
Добър ден, чувате ли ме?
Да, здравейте.
Hello, can you hear us? Yes, we can hear you, and we'll switch on the interpretation. I will try to display my presentation.
Presentation would be in Bulgarian. We will switch the translation here, so you listen to the interpreters.
Вижда ли се презентацията?
Can you see the presentation?
Да, вижда се презентацията.
Yes.
Ще помоля действително в 10 минутки да се съберем.
And I would appeal to you that we stick to 10 minutes.
Така, добре. Значи мога да започна.
So I can start. Thank you so much for the introduction and for the opportunity to take part in this online event. I work with the Energy Agency from 2019 as coordinator on environmental protection, energy, and scientific research. I will tell you about some of the tasks that our colleagues do and the services we provide for municipalities. Lena would be, it was established 2012, and we are in Saxony-Anhalt. The agency was established in view of the specific conditions of the state for the energy efficiency goals. And it would be an organization that is independent. We help our target groups with different services such as counseling, motivation, exchange of experience, communication, additional trainings. The Energy Agency would be a coordinating function, coordinating, encompassing existing projects, activities, trying to address gaps or trying to address any structural deficits. Our target groups would be companies, municipalities, private consumers, and we have three main areas: economy with businesses, also consumers, and the state sector, the public sector, the municipalities. In all of those areas, we try to provide information on topics to promote efficient use of energy, renewables, modernization of buildings, proper use of energy in municipalities, buildings where users can make a difference. Since last year, September 2022, the service center was established for renewables, and the National Coordination Center for Hydrogen was established. The two organizations coordinate jointly some activities in Saxony-Anhalt, existing networks on these themes, and they are trying to engage in different joint actions. We are just beginning. And I cannot show you many activities, showcase many activities. Rather, I will focus on the state sector, on the public sector. And I will show you some activities of municipalities and what services we provide. You can see the areas, action areas in municipalities, the thematic range. I will not list them all. I will instead try to summarize them in terms of internal organization, cooperation and communication, urban planning, spatial planning, municipal stock and waste management. These would be activities where municipalities are everywhere and are trying to provide information and engage in projects within their capacity, be that financial capacity, be that professional capacity. They are trying to come up with different concepts to address climate change, to improve public transport, heating services. They try to modernize street lighting. Also, they do projects in schools, in kindergartens. The objective being also to use more and more renewables. And our task, our service would be to provide training, to get them together for exchange of experience to take place. We try to counsel them, to advise on concepts regarding climate change and provide the relevant information. One of our services would be the so-called communal energy management. This would be the energy management at the municipality. We provide instruments that would help this. We provide certified training programs. We advise, promote exchange of experience at meetings of the state network. These would be thematic meetings every year, and 1 week ago was the latest one. It was on new laws, new tasks, namely what municipalities will be in for. This topic would be the municipal planning of heating services. This is a very important aspect, and municipalities themselves are not very clear as to what their tasks would be. So we help them on that. We are between ministries and municipalities, and we facilitate, provide direct information coming directly actually from ministries. And at such events, we provide information from the relevant experts that are experts in the respective area. It may be legislation, it may be municipal planning, or it may be some contracting for energy savings. Also, we have meetings of management meetings. We have managers, environmental managers, and they have for 2 or 3 years, they have been funded by the state in Germany, and from 220 municipalities in our remit, we organize meetings with the relevant environmental managers. Next service would be modernization of street lighting. We provide information with leaflets and other resources, advice, counseling, especially on lighting, street lights, with LED-based lights. And in the projects, we also, in the past years, we have some projects that underpin that. This today, all the presentations focused on the European Energy Award in Saxony, and how we have 3 municipalities certified under EA, and the third one was recertified in 2020. And if you want more information, you can certainly approach me, and I will refer this to my colleague. These are towns, cities that use financial support from us and from the organization for promoting protection of the environment under our province, in our province. And for these cities, we would be the contact persons, the people that would be supporting the exchange of experience activities. This would be from me, and I would like to thank you for your attention. I tried really to stick to the 10-minute stint, and I hope that if you have questions, you will refer them to me or after the event as well.
Absolutely. Let's first thank to our most disciplined speaker by miles, I would say. We wanted to have that presentation at the end of the excite round of presentation, because I think it's very clear for all of you in the audience how actually one of the most established German energy agencies provides practically the same services that we in the EA network are trying to provide to the municipalities in Central and Eastern Europe. So practically the approach is the same. I hope the quality is also improving, and we are moving towards the German quality as well, even if it sounds a little bit braver than probably would expect. But I mean, we are moving really in one direction. And one of the reasons for that is that we are talking to each other. And this is exactly what is the topic of the final presentation from the Excite tour of examples and experiences. Gabi, our good friend from the Austrian Energy Agency, will take the floor now. And I'm always certain we anyway mentioned the importance of communication practically in each presentation so far, but indeed every event should start and end with this topic. And I think that we have the good opportunity to end that series of presentation with the topic of stakeholders engagement. Gabi, the floor is yours. Thank you for the patience, and we're looking forward to your presentation.
Thanks a lot. Also from Vienna, here it's very now getting cold now. But yeah, I'm here with my colleagues Thea Löw and Eva Janechova. Please, if you want, you can switch also off on your camera just to present you our internal team, because internal organization, we heard, is very important. And it's very hard to communicate online, and it's really a pity not to be in Sofia. It's I'm very sorry, but yeah, we do our best to present the overview to our communication activities and stakeholder engagement. First, I would like to make great thanks to the whole project team and to all municipalities. It was really a great exchange and Dragomir, I agree totally. The beer visits, this exchange, this was very useful, and this was really a highlight. And I think some topics you cannot do online. You have to meet in person, I think, and to discuss and see and get a feeling what are the problems there. So now I try to share my screen. One moment, I hope it works. I think, Thea, what, is it okay?
Yes, you can also switch to presentation mode.
Yep. Now it's presentation mode. It's okay.
I guess it's coming to the screens.
Yeah, it's a long distance.
We have to learn
Now?
to try.
I see it full screen.
No, we don't see it in presentation mode yet, but I trust.
I switch to
Slide,
the
slide.
next.
We're still on the first slide here.
Is this now the second slide?
No, no, no.
Otherwise, please, could you share it? I sometimes have problems with Zoom. And if it's okay, Stanislav, you mentioned you could share it for me, please, if possible. And yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, I would like to give you an overview to our activities within citizen engagement. And we heard a lot about the European Energy Award and why did we focus especially on citizen engagement. Yeah, now, yeah, perfect. Thanks a lot. To the next slide, please. Thanks a lot. You see here, do you know these area fields of activity areas from the European Energy Award? You saw it already, I think, 5 times in different slides and different charts. These are the areas of activities of the European Energy Award. And you see here development, special planning, buildings, supply, mobility, internal organization, communication, cooperation, climate adaptation. And this is from the website of the European Energy Award. And there, if you click on the communication and cooperation topic, you get a more detailed content of this catalog, which is behind. Next slide, please. You see here this citizen engagement is important in different activity field of areas. It's in the strategy. You can, if you have a policy, a strategy on municipal level, you can put the citizen engagement as a central part of it in your strategy, publish it on your municipal website. Area 3, the energy supply. There is the connects to energy communities, to renewable energy communities. As I saw in your countries or in some of the countries, not in all, the legislation is not yet in place, which makes it easy sometimes. Then area 5, the internal organization. As we heard, internally communication is very important. I totally agree. And if you want to reach the gold, the highest level, I think it would be good to involve the citizens also in your energy climate team. Then there is an area of communication, which is the core topic of stakeholder engagement and especially stakeholder citizen engagement. And this is so an important topic. That's why we had a highlight on this citizen engagement. Thanks a lot. The next slide, please. Yeah, we in the first step we analyzed a lot. It was based on literature, and we identified these 3 levels of citizen engagement. First step, information. to give the people, the citizens, info to renewable, to heat pumps, etc. Then the consultation, as we heard in Slovenia, in Velenje, there is an energy office. They how many days? I think 2 days a week it's open, or Neic, I can't remember. And then the participation level, we also addressed this. This is a very high level where people can put their PV panels on their house and are prosumers and are really involved in that. And this is addressed in this report on the website published. Also, barriers were identified, barriers, especially the gap of knowledge sometimes, because it's very important that municipalities are a knowledge hub also to climate topics. The next slide, please. There is another report. There is this assessment report. We assessed each, or the project partners assessed it for each municipality, pilot municipality. They did a survey and an assessment of each municipality. And it's really then a tailor-made strategy made out of this, how to improve communication and citizen engagement. And as I saw from your spider diagrams, there is perhaps also this very important for that communication topic. Yeah, and you see here Gabrovo from Bulgaria is always a role model, and there is at the end of this report, every municipality has created a vision, a strategy, and this is in the report. Some, especially in Ukrainian municipalities, they are signed by the mayor. And you can read all all statements in the report. And you see here the vision of Gabovis. They see that the local population is the key to increase energy efficiency, implement renewables, and so. Next slide, please. Yeah, also we saw in this assessment that a lot of activities are already in place in each municipality, and we were very impressed, and we are still impressed. And we created out of these existing examples some good practices. We created there on the website. You can, here is one of Ukraine. There were also from Velenje and from Cluj, and they are also awarded for their existing initiatives within the European award ceremony in Luxembourg, and it's a very nice event. Next slide, please.
Gabi, just sorry, I will interrupt you for a second for an announcement which would be important.
Yep.
Any moment, note that next minute, the National Emergency Alert System would be tested in Bulgaria. All your phones would receive an emergency alert. Please just switch it off. It's a test of the system. And please, for the audience, for the online audiences, don't worry, everything is fine here. Please, Gabi.
Safety first. If you have to do your fire exercise or emergency. Okay, it's then this was the main work package to citizen engagement, and also within work package 5, thanks to Dorin from Romania, he organized this, and we supported you with workshops and presentation, and this was really also very good topic to meet online, to present examples, to exchange online. And we had really 4 workshops, and the summary of these workshops on the Moodle platform, and there you can read it. Next slide, please. Yeah, and also just to highlight, just to get that you get an idea what we discussed within these presentations and workshops. For example, North Macedonia presented a lot, and the municipality of Kocani was presented the communication channels and the involvement of citizens. You have green offices, you have a lot of activities on this. I was very impressed. Thanks. And also, Mariela, congratulations for your silver. For your silver line. The mobility in the municipality of Wil was also presented. Pascal, thanks a lot. You organized it. This was very impressive. I think they, as I remember, they focused on electromobility. Children played an important role. Yeah, and it was very interesting to see also what's going on in Switzerland. The core country of the European Energy Award. Yeah, photovoltaic and crowdfunding, getting private investments also combined with municipality investments. This public-private partnership we addressed also, and one of Austria presented this. And also we had an interesting exchange in Austria. The study tour was done also, and we discussed the citizen involvement also in Baden and in Tulln. Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Because these workshops, we did a continuation of these workshops within work package 6. Thanks to Anne and Christina. We had a lot of workshops. You see here the list. Especially energy poverty was very interesting. We created an energy training for social workers because they have the contacts to the energy poor households. This was presented by my colleague, the challenge of walking in a city in Vienna. They have a walking project. This was very interesting, not only focusing on cycling, also address walking. The art of making excuses, I think there were a lot of discussion. This was very interesting, how to change or how to overcome the gap between behavior of people and what they're doing in practice. They think if they separate their waste and switch off the light, they can fly once a year. And to have an idea what the psychology is behind and how to overcome this, that the municipalities have to implement procedures and that climate friendly activities are easy to reach for the citizens, that we learned from that. Yeah, and decarbonizing district heating was not so addressed by citizen engagement, but it was interesting because we heard coal in district heating, and so is still a topic, and how to phase it out. This was the interesting workshop. Thanks a lot. Next slide, please. Yeah, also I mentioned the peer visits, and this was very interesting. In each peer visit, we discussed also the stakeholder citizen engagement, and in one of that, it was Dobry. Thanks to Dobry, it was possible there to present our brochure. It's from our climate protection initiative in Austria. Klimaaktiv, this visual climate communication topic, and we showed that pictures, showing good pictures is very important, and not to focus on the iceberg anymore, just to focus on pictures where the people are really triggering the emotions. Thanks a lot. Next slide, please. Yeah, and there is our there is very new our brochure. It's not published yet on the website, but we will do it. And there, because there were a lot of climate myths existing, and we municipal staff needs some arguments for discussing with the citizens. They need to have a basic information to the facts, and we started with describing some facts to some myths, and it's really worth to read it. And yeah, and it will be published on the website. And I think, Stanislav, this was the last slide. The next slide is thanks a lot. Благодаря, mulțumesc, hvala. Дякую. To all of you, thanks a lot. It was really a pleasure to work, to have this exchange, and I hope we stay in contact and to go on exchanging on that topics. And thanks to Thea Löw and Eva Janechova for their support for the brochures, the climate myths, and the fact sheets, and the documentation of the workshops. Yeah, and thanks, Dragomir, to NFEC for your perfect and very good cooperation. And yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Gabi. Your input to this project and to our countries is indeed highly appreciated, and I do hope that we continue, and we will continue. I know that it's not the only project that we work with you, with the Austrian Energy Agency, and that would continue for hopefully many years to come. I think that a point was made. Quite expressively, I would say that we really need to get serious about getting the right message through the right channels to the right people in order to carry out the energy transition, because policies, like many other things in life, they take place only through communication. And with that kind of advice that we have, I think that we can count on good developments in that direction as well. And now the next panel starts without further ado, because after we hopefully answer the question, what do we need to do? Now the question is, who is going to do it? Because people, as we rightfully said on several occasions, are not becoming more and better qualified in the past years, but we need to counteract that tendencies. And thankfully, we have the right tools, and we have the right partners, right colleagues from other organizations with which we communicate in good and bad times that can help us in that. I would like to invite Zdravko Gеоргиев, the Executive Director of Sofia Energy Agency, Sofena, and only the name of that agency might tell you that we are in the same fight for several decades, trying to get the things a little bit better, a little bit straighter here in Sofia. People from Sofia are also listening online, so that's another step in the right direction. Zdravko, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you, Drago. It was really exciting to be here, to listen, to hear about all these good practices. We already heard some our partners from Germany, and we understand that the problems are similar around Europe, and we have to work together to overcome these problems and to improve the situation with energy management in municipalities. So we have this short discussion and short presentations regarding this, focusing on these issues before ending this event. So thanks for hosting and implementing this issue including this issue in the program of Excite event. The current project which we are here to speak about is energy managers services in municipalities and how to improve this. My presentation is in Bulgarian, but I will speak in English. And the idea is to help, to assist Bulgarian and Romanian municipalities in building capacity and working in the area of energy management. As you already understood, in Germany, there are similar problems and similar difficulties. So we hope to even to help Germany in this usually given as a good example country to also to improve energy management at municipal level. It's clear that it's probably clear for most of us that we have background in Bulgaria and in other countries in legislation and strategy development regarding energy management. So we don't start from the beginning, from the nothing. The problems are many, of course, but they were already mentioned. The problems with the legislation is not focusing on this. It's one of the problems. Then there are problems with communication. This profession of energy management is not highlighted, or the people are not listening to usually to the managers, mainly to the politicians, or they are dealing with another let's say hot issues, not working also on systematic way for improvement of energy situation in their buildings, their municipalities. That's why we still need to do educations, to make strategies, to deal with such documents in order to improve the conditions at local level. We start from December with communications and workshops, how to develop such a model for energy management for our municipalities based on the good practice from Romania and also the German experience. We already did this legislative overview, and yeah, there is always room for improvement. But let's say that the key is not in the legislation. The key is what the municipalities can do with their own resources, with their own capacity. And we have to try to open this potential, to really view this potential for development at local level. The challenges, of course, there are many challenges, but we have to convince first the politicians, the mayors, and the head of these municipalities, and to convince them to work in this direction and to establish energy management departments, or to assign people to be directly involved in these issues. And at the end, of course, the main, let's say, the outcome from the project should be improvement and recommendations for improvement of legislation at local level in Bulgaria, and also developing a model which can be applied in more municipalities. Currently, 3 are pilot municipalities in Bulgaria: Svilengrad, Rus, and Zapareva Banja. Big one, medium, and small one. I will skip this. You will have the presentation, the slides regarding the legislation, the background, the context of the situation in Bulgaria. Of course, there are many documents dealing with this, but what are the problems? Let's say the municipalities, they have obligations. They have to deal with their properties, with their buildings, with transport, other issues. And they need instruments, they need support from us, like energy agencies, energy centers established in Bulgaria. How to do this, how to make this in practice. That's why we started with analyzing the problems and needs of municipalities. And we also work for finding solutions, how to organize this at municipal level. This is very crucial also when we speak for financing. In order to ensure a stable financing of energy efficiency measures, sustainable mobility, or other issues, we need to have a good system for accounting, let's say, energy consumption, and to analyze energy consumption, and then to find solutions, find rooms for improvement, and at the end to implement these energy efficiency measures and monitor the results in order to ensure that the improvements are done and in a proper way, and the results are achieved. And here are some examples for financing. It's clear for each municipality. What is also clear is that in future we will have less grants and more financial instruments, which we will need more attention, or working more with the energy management and analyzing the results of energy efficiency measures. I think that the main issues are already covered. Here are some examples of financial opportunities. What are the instruments? In effect, they had already good projects also for promotion of ISO 50001 standard in municipalities. Before that, there were also municipalities in Bulgaria who already implemented this standard. In effect, also developed a software for optimizing energy consumption, which is also a good step for this. And now what we need is for improving the situation is to continue to promote these instruments and to establish a good model for energy management at the municipal level, and to implement this model is in as much possible as many municipalities in Bulgaria. We did some study on the need assessment, and yes, it's clear that the municipalities, they have problems with capacity, communication between each other, between each departments of municipalities and people's.
И съответно в всички от общините да се прилагат дейностите.
Municipality of Pavlikeni, Dobri, other municipalities, and we are on the way to develop this model for energy management for municipalities in Bulgaria. So what are the next activities? There will be training for these 3 pilot municipalities. What is good is that they are very keen to implement this model for energy management and to promote also to other municipalities in Bulgaria. And then develop these recommendations for changes of legislation or other development at national level. So yeah, once again, thanks for this opportunity. We also already get some ideas from other partners from Excite project, also working with Sofia municipality and Dobrich and Gabru. I think they were the Bulgarian pilots. So we always have what to learn and how to implement in our daily works, daily activities. And yeah, now, yeah.
Thank you very much indeed. That initiative was very needed in Bulgaria, I'm sure in Romania as well, because yeah, the public officials are always rotating, technologies are always developing, and the knowledge needs to be updated and upgraded at any time. So we also need a system on how to follow and organize in a structured way that process. Here I'm happy to invite our next speaker, and actually talking about the importance of communication. I kind of always thought about the nice parallel that we have with Lea from the Romanian organization Energy Cities. We started working together in the area of municipal energy planning. I won't say how many years ago, but we both started as communication experts in our organizations. And now we are both managing the organizations that are supporting the local authorities. So that might give you a little hint on how important communication is in the whole process of organizing and promoting energy management and planning practices across the cities. Lea, the floor is yours. Happy to see you, happy to have you here, and eager to learn more about the Romanian experience.
Thank you so much. Hello to everyone. It's a great parallel, Drago. Indeed, communication is essential in everything that we do. That doesn't mean we consider the technical expertise less important. I think it's the most important, but through communication, we can reach more targeted people. In just a few seconds, you will see my presentation. I'm going to share my screen. Do you see it in presentation mode?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Thank you very much to Drago and Zdravko for giving us this opportunity. It's been a real pleasure to be a part of this project about municipal energy management, because as you already heard, we do have some steps forward in this process in Romania, but there's always more space to improve. And this is why we consider that working together with Germany and Bulgaria, it will really help our experience as well. Just a few words about Energy Cities Romania, because you already know about Sofena, our partner, or UFU, as they had presentations before. We are an association founded in 1995 with the support of the European Network of Energy Cities. We've been their members since 1997, and since 2010, we have been supportive structure for the Covenant of Mayors. Our members are local authorities involved in the process of energy transition towards climate neutral communities. Most of them are signatures of the Covenant of Mayors. And what we do is to support local authorities in implementing effective energy and climate policies, but also to represent their interests in the relation with the national authorities. This is a spreading of our members across the country for you to see that we kind of have members from all over the parts of Romania. And considering the municipal energy manager model in Romania, you need to know that considering the legal framework, we have a collection of normative acts, such as laws, emergency ordinances, regulations, and government decisions, but also national long-term strategies. While the normative acts cover energy performance of buildings, energy efficiency, energy auditors for local communities and industries, but also certification of energy managers and energy service companies, the national long-term strategies target energy efficiency, energy and climate, sustainable development, and long-term renovation. Pretty much this is the point from where we started with involving in the legislation the municipal energy management. The Ministry of Energy is the sole national level governmental structure with the authority to represent Romania in bilateral and multilateral relations concerning the country's energy efficiency policies. It is the only central public authority with the power to draft primary and secondary legislation and policy proposals on energy efficiency. And you can see some of the responsibilities on the slide of the Energy Efficiency Department, the direction with which we have been working on municipal energy management. We have the Energy Efficiency Law developed in 2014 with specific obligations regarding the implementation of energy efficiency programs. So at present, municipalities with a population over 5,000 inhabitants are obliged to have an energy efficiency improvement program, which they have to report on a yearly basis to the Energy Efficiency Department of the Ministry of Energy. And municipalities with a population of over 20,000 inhabitants are obliged to have the same program, the Energy Efficiency Improvement Program, but to also appoint or contract a certified municipal energy manager. These specifications were inserted in the legislation because of the essential role of cities in carrying out national energy efficiency policies. The energy management services can be provided in Romania in two ways, either a certified energy manager acting as part of the municipal administration, and we personally consider this position the best because it's very important to have an energy manager within the organization, but also a certified energy manager or company acting as an external consultant. The responsibilities of the municipal energy manager, according to the legislation, you have all the responsibilities of these actors on the slide. All of them are very important, and all of them provide the actual support that local authorities need. I would also like to say that certification of energy managers and companies providing energy services is aimed to recognize the technical competencies of energy managers at national level. We have two types of certificates. We either have energy managers for industry, but we also have energy managers for municipalities. The process oversees a certification commission from the Ministry of Energy with the support of a training center for professionals in industry and with the involvement of professional associations. Certified energy managers or energy service companies must be legally capable, but also have professional training and experience in energy management, including teaching, research, design, execution, or operation in technical fields. Together with our members and other important stakeholders, we have developed a SWOT of municipal energy managers because we wanted to, at the beginning of the managers project, we wanted to see where we stand, what needs to be improved, because in this project, we are in the phase of providing support to our partners in Bulgaria, communicating to our partners in Germany and exchanging experiences and learn from both countries. But also we have the duty and responsibility to try to improve the situation in our country. We are fortunate to have this obligation in the legislation, but that doesn't mean that the situation is always easy. So for the strengths, energy managers are encouraged by legislation and provided with opportunities for training and funding. They monitor consumption, propose measures to improve the energy efficiency situation at local level, and play a key role in communication and information dissemination within municipalities. What I mean is that municipal energy managers have to act also as a facilitator between the local administration and also the public buildings, for instance, that monitor energy consumptions, with the media and the citizens, with different stakeholders, even national authorities, because the energy managers know exactly how to describe the situation, how to improve the situation, and what measures are needed. In terms of weaknesses, here are a few challenges faced by energy managers. Limited budget, that's always a big problem. Even if there is a lot of financial instruments that municipalities can attract, the limited budget in terms of municipal energy management is always a weakness, because there are many projects on the table and every administration has to choose among them. There's a lack of access to the latest developments and unclear job descriptions. These are weaknesses that were brought by our local authorities, members of the network, and by energy managers within these municipalities. When they say, for instance, unclear job description, they mean that there are certain duties imposed by the law, but the job requires more and more support needed by the municipality. And it's never a clear domain on which they can act and where they have the best intervention. There are supplementary tasks. There is a lack of understanding from the colleagues within the municipality. There's also inadequate data for the energy efficiency improvement program or for the energy efficiency measures. So you see, even if we have municipal energy managers, they are sometimes perceived as outsiders, especially if they are consultants, or if they are appointed within the municipality from the body, from the staff of the municipality. The other departments do not always see the necessity of these actors. In terms of opportunities, energy managers are crucial in identifying billing errors, for instance, because we've seen many cases, but also in reducing costs. Through the measures they propose, they can actually reduce consumptions and costs. They monitor energy consumption regularly and possess extensive knowledge of technologies, legislation, funding, impact measures, more than the other colleagues within a municipality from the technical departments, let's say. They can be a technical ambassador of the municipality, disseminate information to the community, and provide recommendations on specific projects. But in terms of threats, factors affecting municipal energy managers are the changes in legislation. Like in every country, the legislation is in constant change and not always for the best track. Lack of continuity, for instance, between two different administrations, non-compliance, funding, communication, the political interference in their job, and I think most of all, the erroneous data they can collect or they can receive from the different stakeholders they need to investigate. In Romania, you should know that only 22% of cities with a population over 20,000 citizens comply with the legal obligation to have an energy manager for municipalities. That it's a pity. We don't have a control system. So municipalities that do not find the funding or the people to appoint for the energy management services, they do not do it. Reporting energy consumption is quite difficult, especially correlating data with the Ministry of Energy's request, challenge due to the collection of data. Because even if the data belongs to the municipality, there are many fields where data cannot be collected. Local authorities lack key resources and knowledge to effectively measure and implement energy efficiency measures. They lack capacity, they lack the fit staff, they lack programs that can help them. And also they lack time because most of the administrations have less people than they need. There's also the problem of inadequate decision-making and unclear regulations that hinder the energy efficiency. There's always a need of having local regulation that completes the national legislation. And the fact that local administrations are not always ambitious or bold enough to establish these rules, that really hinders the energy efficiency at local level. Energy managers are crucial for communities. They must liaise with decision makers and relevant departments. But what we see is that sometimes they're just an actor trying to get data, trying to propose measures, but not always making processes happening. There's the issue of limited knowledge, outdated management techniques, and inadequate economic advice that hamper the energy conservation. Municipalities must be part of national strategies to maximize their potential in achieving energy and climate objectives. But as we see in the most member states, there is a lack of dialogue between the national and the local authorities. Municipal energy managers prioritize projects. They are the best instrument an administration could have for choosing the line of projects. They can explain constraints and benefits. They can involve public actors. They can create low emission communities. With effective investment schemes for energy efficiency measures, a local authority could help meet the national objectives and not only but the European ones as well. That was all what we captured in the status quo in Romania for the legislation, and we tried to be as concise and as clear as possible so that both countries that are partner with us in the project can learn from our experience, can decide whether what we do is good or not and how it can be improved, but also what can be improved in their own countries as well. Thank you, and I hope they were useful information.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And we've had some fluctuations in legislation as well. Sometimes it's becoming, proactive. Sometimes it's falling behind even the market developments. And that example from Romania, together with the analysis that you have made for the role of the energy manager, is very useful also for our countries. I'm absolutely confident in that. And as I said, so when we were talking with Dorin, I trust that when experience piles on together, then the solutions come to the surface in a much more structured way. And I think we can take a lesson out of that. Another lesson that we have, I think, taken from the Excite project actually comes from Ukraine. And now I'm happy to see that our colleague Andriy has joined the event. So we agreed with him because he's in a military service and he is very engaged in actual activities on the ground. So we agreed that we'll give him the floor whenever he had the chance to join. He's now here. Hope he can hear us. And I'll ask him to put a few words regarding the EA experience in Ukraine. I think another lesson really important.
Okay, thank you, dear colleagues. First of all, let me express my cordial gratitude for the absolutely effective cooperation during all the years of Excite implementation and for your support of Ukraine in these hard times. Well, I would like to make a very brief review of the situation of EA implementation in Ukraine within the conditions of the second year of warfare, and we'll share some ideas regarding the approach to the future steps after the war is over. So as of today, we have 13 EA participating cities, with one city, Severodonetsk, on hold as it has been almost destroyed and occupied now by Russian invaders. 3 of these cities, namely Vinnytsia, Zhytomyr, and Lviv, are already certified. Despite the war and constant missile and drone attacks, Zhytomyr is getting prepared to the second international audit with a result of 54.6% of implemented EA measures, showing some progress in comparison to the certification audit. Vinnytsia is also almost ready for the already third audit with a significant 62.3%, close to silver EA certificate. And finally, Lviv was certificated in the end of 2022 with 54.6%, but the monitoring now shows the progress up to 60.1% during 2023. So there are real chances to move towards the golden EA certificate by the next audit with the same progress speed. Regarding the Excite pilot cities, they are all have passed the initial assessment. You know about that by the end of 2021, except the new one, which by which we substituted the occupied Severodonetsk. The name is Khotin, and the city has passed this initial review, the initial assessment just recently. And two of these cities of Excite cities, namely Novovolynsk and Mirgorod, have already the monitoring results. So the result of the assessments are the following: Chortkiv 35.0%, Khotin 38.5%, and Trostenets 38.6%. And regarding Novovolynsk, it has shifted in almost 2 years from 38.2 to 45.1%. It's significant progress. And Mirgorod has shown the progress from 39.0 to 47.2%, despite the everyday bombing and shelling, because they have the huge airfield there. So the latter two are approaching the EEA certification, and we are optimistic about all our Excite participating cities. We see the progress and we see how they work hard. It is worth to stress that all the EA cities and the active COM signatories are implementing their SICAPs. As Drago has mentioned rightfully today, Covenant and Energy Award are complementary, not contradictory. And even one of the tasks within Excite project regarded the SICAP integration within the EEA. Several years ago, by the way, European Commission has recognized the EEA as a very efficient instrument for implementation of municipal energy and climate strategies. Certainly, every strategy remains a document itself until it has no resources for implementation. That is what Pascal has emphasized on today. Without money, without incentives, the plan is good for nothing. And that is what we unfortunately face today in Ukraine. Due to the war and budget shortages, all programs focused on energy efficiency, climate change, mitigation and improvement of spatial planning, etc., are on hold now, and part of local taxes that could be used for these purposes are now used for military purposes, while these taxes are obligatory transferred to the state budget. Anyway, we are optimistic and we have a very realistic base for the optimism while seeing the progress even in such dramatic circumstances. And we are looking forward to the future after war reconstruction, yet with some very important remarks. We know how many companies from whole Europe are ready to be involved in this progress, as the European Union is almost ready to approve 50 billion for reconstruction of Ukraine in 2024-2027. Well, personally, I am happy about the EU's confidence and optimism in our victory next year. Otherwise, there is no need for reconstruction of something that might be destroyed next day. But we definitely need a very careful approach to the tender requirements within this process. Quality and corresponds to the highest EU standards in energy efficiency, climate mitigation measures, and city spatial planning, and even beyond these high standards, as the EU is rising their level almost in every few years. Not the cheapest price should be the main criteria for the winner. This will ensure the quality of life of new generations that will live in the reconstructed Ukraine. Thank you for your attention. This is very short and brief review, and maybe you have some question I can respond right now.
Thank you very much, Andrei, and we really appreciate your messages. One thing I can say regarding Ukraine, one thing that we should not doubt is the quality of expertise that is available there, even if this hard time, even with all immigration. And these people are knowing, they know what they're doing. We should remember that we are not going there to teach them. If we want to help them, we should support them resource-wide so that they can help themselves. They have the capacity, of course, whatever is needed. I guess everybody in Europe is eager to provide it. I mentioned, Andrei, today the huge Vilnius conference that is going on at the moment.
I know.
And you know, it's quite a big number of programs are discussed there now. But what you said is very important. What you need and what we need, by the way, I think it's practically the same. We need quality. We need very careful assessments of what we have, where we want to go, and what are the resources that are needed. And we do not need any faking, and we do not need any artificial solutions and promises. We need to be there at the local level, in the cities, in the neighborhoods, with the people to know what they do really need. So thank you, Andrei. If there are questions, we might have a couple of minutes after the end of the conference, but we now actually are going into actually the first task of the good energy manager, and that's working with data. And that was the whole logic of the design of the conference. Of course, we had to take into account the time availability of some of the speakers and to reshuffle a bit. But the idea was to go through the process from strategic energy planning to building internal capacity to showcasing what is the key activity of a proper energy management manager and the proper energy management system, and that is to work with data. Next presentation, Stanisław Andrea from the NFX team about available energy management tools, how things should be done in practice. Please, you can come here as well.
Thank you. I can also stand, but how to switch the slides? This mouse. Sit down. Okay. So, well, we go through the planning process, through energy management, but what can really facilitate energy managers is, of course, different tools that can support them in getting the data, in analyzing the data, etc., etc. So I'll just give you a couple of examples. What we are working on. I know that many municipalities have different approaches, different tools. From Germany, I saw, for example, Excel developed for the specific needs of the municipalities. But can we build something that that can be, let's say, useful on not local but on European level? That was our task when we started to develop a platform that will be used currently by Catalan government and by Bulgarian municipalities, but in future we hope to spread it all over Europe. So where we started here in Bulgaria, we started in the beginning of 20th century with the first tool provided 21st century, sorry, provided to the Bulgarian municipalities. It was based on Microsoft Access. It's over 20 years old now. It's outdated, and well, we mentioned a lot Microsoft and Bill Gates. Some good words for them, but currently it's not operating with the new Microsoft versions of access. So we needed to further develop it and to update it based on online platform that we created. Zdravko already mentioned it. This is a tool also available now for all Bulgarian municipalities. There is also an English version. So anybody who is interested can taste it, and it's not a complicated task to translate it in even other languages. What was the initial idea? To be, of course, online and to facilitate the managers by uploading automatically most of the data that is already available. Like, for example, for all Bulgarian buildings that have energy audits, there is an Excel summary. It's standardized. So just uploading the Excel summary gives all the information for the buildings that you need. Gross floor area, air construction, type of construction, etc., without filling cell by cell. And we know that most of the public buildings have this energy certificate, so data is available. What we also try to facilitate them, still have invoices on paper or on unreadable PDFs. The idea was to prepare an Excel template, fill in the template, and also automatically upload the data for the buildings, for the energy consumption, different energy carriers. Even we added the consumption of water. So when you fill all this data, you have different kinds of reports. Monthly consumption on municipal level by energy carriers, comparison between statistical data about primary and final energy consumption, comparison by types of buildings. You can see what are the hospitals doing. You can see how the schools are behaving, for example, by different type of energy carriers. So you can plan if you see that you still have a diesel boiler or coal. For example, you see where you should put in efforts to replace the energy source, and some additional services that are connected to the obligation of the municipalities in reporting annually to the Sustainable Energy Development Agency. This report is also an Excel template. If you fill in the data during the year, with just a single click, you have the report ready, instead of taking you, let's say, a week to get through different departments, getting the data and filling the report. And another thing that saves time is the automatically generated report for energy auditors. All the information that is required by the energy auditor to perform an energy audit can be generated with a single click. So no need the auditor to wait a month until the municipality provides the consumption back in time. But anyway, we really understand that it's still quite an effort to get this data, to fill in this data. So we moved forward with our Spanish colleagues, using their experience, and the platform is this platform is already running in test phase. It's also connected with other platforms like Deep that we can automatically exchange data. We provided statistical data from Bulgaria for all the energy audits that have been performed in the period 2016-2022. So it's more than 3,000 buildings. Information is already there. All the measures that were recommended in these audits are also there. Same did the Catalan government. So we have quite an impressive number of buildings and quite an impressive number of measures. All this data is available in the platform. The platform is now operating in Bulgarian, Catalan, Spanish, and English. Who are we targeting with this platform? Because not only the building, the energy managers and the building owners who can have all this all their data in one place, make comparative analysis, take decisions. The platform is also giving some recommendations on future measures and current issues with the buildings. We are also targeting the financial institutions because we're providing for all these measures that are inside the platform, the financial parameters of these measures. So hoping to create trust in financial institutions that measures in energy efficiency and renewables are something that they should target in their portfolio. And of course, the policymakers, because the statistical data on regional level, like the Catalan region, or on national level, like in Bulgaria, gives you quite a lot of valuable information for planning and structuring future financial instruments, plans, etc. What's the main principle of the platform? If you give data, you can benefit from the platform. If you don't give data, you have access only to the overall statistics. Yeah, it's impressive. Really, you can see this comparison and overall view of the information in the platform. But when you become a user and you start providing the data, then you can use it also as a tool for a day-to-day energy management. Well, what's the difference and what's impressed me actually from Spain, that the energy data in Spain is there uploaded automatically and on hourly base. They have a national platform called GIS or something. Sorry, don't remember the name now. But this platform have information for the energy consumption of all buildings on hourly base, and every user can input his own personal number of the building, and the platform automatically generates this hourly data and gives recommendations in case you see over increased consumption on Sunday in a school. The platform will send a message to the energy manager or who is assigned there just to take the actions in order to avoid such discrepancies. Also, what is very useful for larger organizations like the Catalan government or municipalities in Bulgaria, like Burgas, Sofia, etc., you can have multiple users with multiple access with different responsibilities. So you can have the healthcare facilities on one side and one people responsible for them. You can have the schools on the other side with another user responsible for them. So you can split the obligations of the energy management team within the platform. And what we get at the end, of course, I told you about the data. In Bulgaria, we still have to input it manually. Of course, if the municipality has some management real-time data measurements with a single API, I'm not an expert here in IT, but this data can reach the platform if the municipality give access to it. And you see the example on the left from Bulgaria. This is monthly data, what we have, but you see the example from Spain, the hourly data, much more valuable information for the users. So we have all these buildings, we can compare them in multiple ways, by type, by construction, by year, by country, by whatever you can think of, in order to see, for example, all the kindergartens and compare with the kindergartens. We also can follow the, if we already have buildings inputted into the platform with the information, we can compare our own building with the buildings all across the country, for example. So not only between our schools, but with all the schools in the country and see where we are. We can also compare the measures, the different types of measures by different financial parameters, by emission savings, by energy savings and costs, etc. And of course, after the implementation of the measure, we can follow up and see if we're reaching the results that we expect, and if not, of course, take some actions to do it. Final slide. I think you all know what it is, what are the benefits of the energy management, so I'll just skip it. And thank you for your attention. I was between you and the lunch. Now I'm not between you.
I am between you and the lunch. So thanks for that. I think, yes, you got the point straight. Besides the underlining in the last slide, access to financing, which I guess it was one of the main messages. The point here was that there is already enough capacity to support the local authorities in the whole journey, even in the management of such complex data situation as sometimes exist in our municipalities, especially the bigger ones, but actually everywhere. Because managing, complex situation needs people and tools. People, we must convince. Tools, I'm sure that we are all convinced, even more after today's conversation that we already have. And, I remember actually the energy manager of the city of Dnepropetrovsk, Zaporozhye, Ukraine, 40 kilometers from the front line, was our guest a couple of months ago. And he told me, okay, why are you bothering with that monthly data we have in Zaporozhye? The decree of the municipalities that we are only purchasing measurement tools with data collection and transmission capacities at real time. This doesn't exist anywhere in Bulgaria. A regulation by the municipality only to purchase such tools that can provide you with this hourly data that are so useful for the energy management. So good examples sprout from everywhere. As you heard from Andrei, actually where the pressure from energy and other types of crisis is stronger, good examples can be even more frequently found there. But in all of the excited countries, we've come to a situation that we know how to proceed. Now our task is to make sure that the final users, the municipalities and the citizens understand the benefits, the process, and the effort that has to be taken, but we all know it's worth it. So with that, I would like first of all to ask if there is anyone willing to summarize their impressions from the event so far, because I think that we can afford ourselves a few more minutes. And really thank you to the interpreters for having that 3 hours bearing 3 hours with us. I know it's not easy, but still 2 or 3 more minutes for anyone that is willing to share a word. If it's not the case, yes, it was a tiresome event, I know, and the lunch is waiting for us outside, and I guess all others in the online meeting, thanks for staying with us for so long, are also expecting their break. I think it was really, as we lived up to the promise to provide you with a useful event, that lessons and information you can take home and use in your everyday activities. Hope that it made sense for you as well as it made for us, and I'm sure we'll keep in touch and we'll continue forward in this nice adventure that we have together. Thanks a lot, and see you soon.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.